Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am ManyNinjas. Welcome to the next installment of Retro Ninja Gaming, where we're continuing our run on Rockman 4 minus Infinity. Just to kind of prepare you what you're going to be seeing on the upcoming stage, have you noticed that for most of the stages, you've not really seen any disappearing reappearing blocks or any kind of specialty blocks at all? There's a very good reason for that. Skullman has been hoarding them all, as we're about to see. Oddly enough, the stage begins with a splitting path right from the get-go, in which case the bottom path will lead to a nice little interesting find that'll actually help within the later part of the episode. Get past two Skull Joes, and we find Beat kind of just hanging around in a cage. A bit reminiscent of what you'd find in Mega Man 7. In the same way we released them in that title, you do the same thing here. A good charge shot will break the cage, which actually scrolls across both sides of the stage, I guess due to NES limitations, and once you touch him, Beat will drag you back onto the main path of the stage. Suddenly, platforms. Since you now have Beat unlocked at this point, he'll actually be helping in the course of this stage, and once I get back there, immediate demonstration of what he'll do, he will bail you out from death pits, of course at a certain cost of life. For those well versed in the NES series, or the NES part of the series I should say, you're going to realize you're going to be playing against basically every type of specialty block, short of the Yoku blocks, or skillful blocks if you want to go with the English translation, that appear in this particular part of the series. As for why I picked Skullman stage for last, it's because, let's be honest here, once you have the wire adapter which uses zero energy, as well as the balloon adapter which it's a bit more heavy but still not that bad, you can probably skim through 90% of the stage with relative ease, as I'm about to demonstrate with the balloon adapter here, which will let us skip over all those different steps. Well, that's an enemy I have not seen since Mega Man 1, and the various spinning parts there. You can get by all these pippies very easy, although realistically if you're timing your jumps right, you will never actually have them land on any of the spikes. Maybe hitting the wall at best, but never any of the spikes, so they won't hit you with any pippies. And the only part here, you kind of have to wait your time in order to get up on that last bubble to get to the next part of the stage. Proof of concept here, the controllable ring will actually be able to pick up items if you manage to get them tagged right, just like what happened there. In the next room, you're supposed to keep on the high path as long as you can, and if you do, you'll get into the next room very easy. If not, you've got to defeat jumping on the bottom there, or slide under him. Thankfully, the rush cannon will take care of him in one shot. In this case, it'll be the last appearance of a regular jump egg, and I use regular very loosely. Thank you, Eddie, for the tank. As we go to the next part of the game, or next part of this particular stage, I should really say, which is actually going to be an automatic scrolling section. On top of pretty much having to deal with all the tricky jumps upward and downward, as you're going to have to be going a bit of all over the place in order to get through this section, you also have to be dodging these bullets all the way. If you happen to have Beat rescued from earlier parts of the stage, he'll be able to pick you up and rescue you from any sudden falls in this particular section, but odds are if you fall in this area, you're going to be taking so much damage you're as good as dead if you manage to get up top. But realistically, if you happen to have picked up the adapter from before, you're going to want to use something like either the wire adapter where applicable, or in this case balloon adapter, in order to just kind of save yourself from a sudden fall and what would be an obscene amount of damage, to be quite frank. Just as a word of caution, in case you happen to find yourself in a situation where you're knocked off even with an item attached or a master power attached, if you happen to fall off and need rush, or not rush, but Beat to save you, when Beat picks you up, you'll be automatically returned to your default Mega Buster. Something to keep an eye on when you end up having to get back up, and hopefully on solid land. Scrolling onto the next room, we get a bit of a relief with a bit of a power up here. Going to use Rush Search in order to get a little more health, try to max it up, because quite frankly the game kind of hits at what's coming at you next with what's going on in the background here. In this case, the stage is mini-boss. And let's see. Oh, that's going to be useful for later. Can never get enough energy tanks, to be honest, especially in the coming Fortress series. And suddenly out of nowhere, the T-Rex enemy from Mega Man 7. Of course, reduced to NES palette. In order to get by this section, you have to be able to jump up and down the panel, and you're going to really want to take some shots to his jaw. Fortunately, he has no real invulnerability, But of course, his tri-shot will hit you basically either on the top or the middle of the platform, and his fire can only really be dodged by being completely off the platform. Once you defeat the T-Rex, you're going to start falling down at this point. With a beat, you're going to actually be able to kind of aim your drop a lot easier, whereas if you didn't rescue me, you would have really just a fraction of a second in order to try and aim your descent in order to avoid all these death spikes right at the bottom here. Realistically, you really want to have Beat ready for this section just to help yourself aim a little better. Beat will drop you up just before the boss gate. You will really want to hang left if you need to refill anything and just select your weapon ahead of time. And now we're basically ready for Skullman himself. Off the top of my head, I believe that the Pharaoh Shot will be, or Pharaoh Shotgun I really should say, will be one of his better weaknesses. And now we see the modified pattern here for Skullman. Skullman's new version of the Master Weapon is referred to as the Hell Wheel. And as you can see from the demonstration, that is savagely beating me at this point, to the point I need a heat tank actually, 1 second as I do that. The Hell Wheel will now propel you forward with the barrier there at a very high speed, even more so if you happen to be holding forward at the time. During Desperation Mode, Skullman will end up doing the Hell Wheel, but moving even faster. If you happen to hit him with a Recycle Inhaler though, you'll get a hidden item for your trouble, the Skull Amulet, which if you happen to be otherwise killed with 2 or more health, will actually reduce you to 1 health, aka saving you with 1 last stand. Of course, now with Skullman beat and the extra item acquired, we now have all 8 weapons in the game, along with the 2 hidden items. And next time around, we'll have to rescue Beat again at some point, and we'll be continuing on with the Cossack stages. See you all next time, folks.